Talk Radio, back again. Segment 2, Guru, you know what that means.
Plug time, got plug time.
Trash Talk Radio at trashtalkradio.com, brought to you by the worldofsportsnetwork.com. World of Sports Network, connecting the world through the sports we love. Head on over to the YouTube page and subscribe to the World of Sports Network YouTube page. You get all the great content from Trash Talk Radio to the new Seattle show, The Wash, to the Barbershop Sports Show, to the Bets with Ben segments are moved over there now. So make sure you head over to the World of Sports Network page on YouTube and hit that subscribe button. You can listen to the Wash podcast on Seattle Sports anywhere that you can find podcasts, as well as on that page. TTR anywhere you can find podcasts, and make sure you go to wozenshop.com. WOSN You're going to find a great TTR merchandise, great World of Sports Network merchandise like the Make DC Great Again hat. You can get yourself one of those coffee mugs that Guru's been drinking out on the show today that say Trash Talk Radio, and the great content that the Guru is putting up there every now and again when he's got his thoughts. If you're looking for me, Lestro, you can find me on Twitter at MoreOrLestro, on Twitter, and the Guru is on Instagram at Guru's Film Room. Guru's Film Room on Instagram, just his thoughts. One more time for the people in the cheap seats, it's trashtalkradio.com. Guru, give him that hashtag.
That's 10K for TTR.
All right, man, now that we got all of that out of the way, we got to get into our segment here, Campus Check-In with the Almanac. We started this recently. We got him checking in, following all the college sports for us. This week he's going to talk a little bit of basketball, but focus mostly on the combine. So let's bring him on here. Almanac, come on, Trash Talk Radio. And we are back on Trash Talk Radio with our Campus Check-In segment featuring the Almanac, coming to us from North Carolina. Almanac, welcome back to the show, man. It is good to see you.
Oh, man, I can't wait to talk to this guy.
Well, I'm coming with a little heavy heart this morning. You guys know I was at the Carolina Duke game last night, man.
Did not go your way last night.
Actually, it went somebody's way in this booth last night, so I don't know what you're talking about. It was a great night.
It didn't go
I still can't get over the fact that you're a Duke fan, man. It hurts me in my soul.
Hey, what color are they?
So are the Tar Heels, man.
But
the name is Blue.
The Blue Devils. Are you on it? I get it. It was too much for you not to. You were just drawn to it like a moth to a flame.
I set myself up with that one.
How was that? How was it seeing it live though? This is the matchup right now in college sports. This is Red Sox Yankees, and it's back again to being something worth watching, especially with your Tar Heels picking up 2 wins this year. Yeah. How was it seeing them live, and how does Zion look in person? Because he looks like a monster on television.
Man, it was amazing. The atmosphere. Each team, every time Carolina would score, Carolina fans would go crazy. Same thing with Duke. But, man, you could see it on TV, but I was telling a buddy of mine, you could see it even more in person. Like, he looks nothing like the rest of those kids on the court, man.
He looks nothing like the rest of those kids.
Nothing like him, man.
He looks like a second or third year NBA player. You know what I mean? Like, he looks like the guy that you're like, well, let's hope next year he puts on weight. Zion's put on the weight, man. He's ready to go.
Might put on too much, man. That's what you call country strong. That's what you call South Kakalaki country strong, bro.
That is exactly it too. He's not too pretty. He's just thick. The dude just
he's just
big boy.
He terrorized our entire front line the whole game.
Well, Almanac, we got you here to switch. I'm going to switch gears a little bit here because we got you here to talk to us a little bit about the college football. I know we got March Madness coming up. I'll have you definitely talking about that next week. But before we get into it, I want to bring you here to talk about the combine and about the college football because I didn't get a lot of chance to watch all of this anyway. I know Guru's a little more into it than I am, but I need to know about Kyler Murray because I'm hearing that he's killing it. I'm hearing that all of a sudden he's the number 1 pick after being an outfielder, I think, last year. He was
I know, it was crazy, man.
Playing baseball last time we talked, and now he's looking like the number 1 pick again. Talk to me a little bit about Kyler Murray.
Well, first off, he won the very first day before any workouts or any drills was ran after he measured the 5'10". I mean, everybody thought he was going to come in around 5'9", and so really,
right,
after that,
taller than expected. That's you know what, you're in.
Exactly. After a quarter of an inch more, what you thought it would be. So, that's when really
I was just telling.
That's when all the number one picks started. They started really running with it then after the 5'10" measurement. So
I was telling Guru earlier, the only thing keeping me out of being the number one pick is that I'm only 5'8". Obviously, that was what cost me my number one shot.
So basically, between 5'9" and 5'10" costs a couple of millions of dollars.
Yeah,
man.
that is crazy.
It just tells you how ridiculous the combine and some of these GMs and some of these guys who are making the picks, how ridiculous they are. Because think like a quarter of an inch, what really difference is that going to make? So 5'9.5", 5'10". Me, if I'm a GM, that's not making a difference if I draft him first or if I draft him outside of the first round period. I mean, that's just me.
Obviously, so, you know what? I think they should stop doing all that height with just on their heels. Man, they play on cleats, man. I don't play on my heel. Man, put some cleats on and then test how tall I am, man.
Not only that, but man, you know what? If there's something in front of me, I'm going to run around and look. And that's what Kyler Murray does. Is that a big tree? Let me move and get out of the way of the tree, and then I can see around it and throw the ball if I got to throw the ball.
Right.
As a short guy, first of all, I hate the discrimination against the short guys, but I love that one of us is making it. Go, Kyler Murray. I hope you're the number one. You and Russell Wilson are my heroes. You're all taller than I am anyway, but still.
Hey, it's starting to change, though. The narrative is still steadily starting to change. And if he's a success in the NFL, I think it'll be wide open then. I think it'll be going on from here. It's just be about production instead of height.
Well, what did you see down there with what he was doing on the field? Is he going to be the success in the NFL?
Yeah, because is it going to be the other guy? Because I'm hearing it's basically a 2-horse race, right? Kyler and Dwayne.
Well, it was. Now pretty much you got basically 90% of maybe 95% of everybody saying that Kyler is a lock to go number one. You got Arizona. They still really not saying if Josh is their guy or if Josh isn't their guy, but I think it's pretty much a lock that Kyler is going number one.
Well, their new coach in Arizona has a thing for Kyler Murray anyway. So
exactly, Cliff Kingsbury. I'm sorry, he runs that wide open run and gun spread offense at Texas Tech, and outside of Patrick Mahomes last year's MVP, I think if there's another quarterback tailor-made for his offense, I think Kyler Murray will fit his running gun offense perfect.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, because first you got to be accurate. He's very accurate. He's one of the most accurate quarterbacks in this draft. Also mobile. I wish he would have ran his 40 because some say he would have ran under 4.4, 4.3, and I really believe he would have ran 4.3 in the lowest. But he wanted to prove he's not just a running quarterback, so he opted against running the 40 at the combine and at the pro day.
Also, he's fast. Let's not put a number on it. He's fast.
Yeah, exactly. You already know he's fast.
Yeah, that's a dude who's been getting out of people's way his entire life. Don't worry about it. He'll be fine.
Well,
absolutely.
The only thing I always question, my thing with quarterbacks and picking them, I'm an old school. The Guru's an old school guy.
Right.
And I like 4-year guys. You look at that. The Super Bowl champion, the winners in the last basically 20, since I've basically been watching football, has been 4-year quarterbacks. Haven't seen an underclassman came in and really won a Super Bowl. I know Cam took his guys to the Super Bowl. We have guys
Didn't win
like
it.
that.
Yeah.
But having seen a guy like that win a Super Bowl, I'm always looking at it differently. It's like, and I want to see a guy that has multiple seasons. I guess that's what I'm getting at. Do you see anything with Kyler Murray? Because with having one season and we haven't really seen him struggle, do you think that's going to be a deterrent in the NFL next year for him?
And that's a great point you make, because if that formula that you just talked about, the most successful quarterbacks coming in the NFL are the guys who started for multiple seasons in college. It's just a proven fact. All those guys who only started for 1 year under their belt, they have a history of not being very successful in the league. So hopefully, the narrative may change with Kyler. But we could say the same thing with Dwayne Haskins, too. He has only had 1 year starting under his belt. So we're starting to see the tread flip here, just like in the NBA. Back in the day, you used to have guys staying 3-4 years in college and the NBA, in college basketball. And now, a guy get hot for 1 year playing quarterback and they telling you can be a first-round pick. I honestly don't blame the kids.
Not at all, man. Especially in football, where an injury any week could end all of that.
That's true.
In basketball, I'd like to see him stay a little longer. I know it's the same thing, and I know we saw Zion go down this year with what could have been a very scary injury. But I think in basketball, I'd like to see him stay a little longer. I'd like to see them stay. I don't think the rule should be that they have to, but I'd like to see them stay a little longer. In football, man, if you're good enough to go that check. That is such a dangerous sport that just go. That said, it is a question of leadership that you put on by having the multiple years where you're leading different groups of guys and figuring out how it's going to work. You hit it one year. We've seen teams hit it one year and disappear. You need a guy that's going to be there the next year that knows how to adapt and change. So
absolutely.
Tell me about Dwayne Haskins then. Has there been, what'd you see from him, and is there any indication that he can do that, or are these guys, how do these two match up then?
Well, like I said, both are 1-year starters. What I like about Haskins, he's basically prototypical size for the quarterback position. He's 6'4", right around 220. But he's not athletic at all. He's just strictly pocket pass quarterback. You know, a lot of the narrative, you know, mostly African-American quarterbacks that we see they do have the mobility factor as well.
Reverse discrimination.
Yeah, it's almost required in the position of that.
This kid here, man, he's almost like a statue back there. He doesn't run at all. But he's very accurate and he's very poised. But one thing that does worry me about him is, I mean, at Ohio State, he's playing with far, far superior athletes. If you look at the combine, every special positional player like DB or wide receiver for Ohio State, those guys ran sub 4.4. They had about 4 or 5 guys running in the 4.3. It's just crazy. And you know they do a lot of those.
They build them for the pros at that school, man. That's the point. That's why they go.
And Urban Meyer's system, you know, he does a lot of those short passes, screens, jailbreak screens, and just let guys use their athletic ability after the catch. So I kind of wonder, you know, will his passing style translate to the next level? But by numbers, he's the best quarterback Ohio State or the best quarterback the Big Ten has ever seen. If you just look at the sheer numbers, the kid threw for over 50 touchdowns, over 4,000 yards.
Yeah, and that's no joke. You can't write that off.
I like Dwayne Haskins. He's a local kid from the DMV. You got to represent, man. I like the DMV represent Dwayne. But, you know, there's just a certain thing I'm worried about, man. It's not about Dwayne, but it's really about Urban Meyer's quarterback. I mean, check the resume. Check the history of Urban Meyer's quarterback. And I'm telling you, man, they don't really do well as far as transitioning to the league very well. So I'm also a little bit weary. I will be more concerned and look into that as well if I was a organization, if I was a GM in that sense.
Yeah.
Man.
Something to be said for that.
The latest buzz I was looking at this weekend was saying that the Giants are not interested, you know, because it was pretty much a lock. Everybody had them pegged in, going 6 to the Giants pretty much since the season.
You know, that's actually not a bad fit either, if you think about it. But who knows what they're going to do? I still think Josh Rosen's going to end up on that team somehow.
They better send me that check because I've been telling them to get Josh Rosen for the last year and a half.
Clean up that mistake over there, man. Well, let's talk about
Arizona will make that. I think Arizona will make that trade in a minute.
Right, because now especially if they're going to go for Murray, that's they got an extra young quarterback. You don't need a handful of those guys you can't trust. So let's talk about the other guys in the combine here because there were other players, believe it or not, that other than the two main quarterbacks.
Man. I thought the NFL is just quarterbacks.
Most of the league, is quarterbacks, but they have to throw to somebody. So Almanac, tell us about the rest of the combine here. Give us a couple of winners and losers in this. Who really killed it and sort of improved their draft position? Who made coaches stand up and take note out there this year?
Man, I'd say first of all, this was probably the fastest combine in total that I could ever remember.
Wow.
That was all the headlines. Speed.
Yes, especially with the big guys. All right, so I have a few winners and a couple losers from the combine, and they're in no particular. Well, I guess I'll give them in order. So I'll start from the bottom. All right, number 5, Kyler Murray, measuring that 5'10". I think that's all he needed to solidify.
He's how tall? Pick him. Story of my life, man. How tall? 5'8". Get out of here.
Yeah. All right. Next up, I got Quentin Williams, the defensive lineman from Alabama. He tore the combine up. I mean, I already thought he was a lock to go in the top 5 anyway, because if you look at his film, he has some of the most impressive film of a defensive lineman has ever put on tape.
Wow.
And he solidified it. He's 300 pounds, and the kid ran a 4.840, and he just blew up the combine as well. He tested good on all the shuttles and cone drills, but that 4.840 wearing over 300 pounds, that really surprised me. I was very impressed with that.
Yeah, man, that size got some get up and go. That's a guy you want on your team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so All right, I have a two-way tie with these next at 3. I'll go 3A and 3B because they play the same position. And this guy, the two Devins. Okay, you got Devin Bush, the middle linebacker from Michigan, and Devin White, the middle linebacker from my team,
Of
LSU.
course.
Yes, so I had to get that quick plug in.
Right,
there.
make sure we mention that.
Yeah, but both of these guys are prototypical NFL middle linebackers. They're both around the 5'11", 5'10", 235, 240-pound range.
Thumpers.
And they both ran 4.41. Devin White ran a 4.41, which was the fastest time ever recorded by a linebacker. Devin Bush was right behind him, running a 4.43. So these guys are true 3-down linebackers. You don't have to take them off the field in nickel situations. They can match up with tight ends, slot guys because of their elite speed, and they can run all over the field. So the two Devins, I think they really solidified themselves as early first-round draft picks to teams that need middle linebackers. All right, my number 2 is the wide receiver DK Metcalf from Ole Miss. I know y'all heard about this guy. They was making a buzz of how he had like 1.6% body fat or something.
Yeah, we saw the photos.
Yeah, that was my picture. That was me.
Yeah,
Right.
But this kid measured in, I think, 6'3", 6'4", 225, and ran a 4.33. So he's going to be an elite deep threat for some teams. So I can imagine him fitting with somebody like the Patriots, who could just take the top off of the defense while, you let little Julian Edelman and those other guys work the middle of the field.
Right, you got a Ferrari on the outside.
That's disrespectful. If Julian Edelman was 5'10", he would have been a quarterback in the NFL.
Touche. All right. So my number 1 guy is the defensive lineman Montez Sweat from Mississippi State. This guy's clocking in about 6'6", 260 pounds, and ran a 4.41.
What?
Wait, give me that one more time.
What?
How big?
4.41. Yes.
How big was he? What did you say?
260.
Jeez, that's a big dude.
And it's not just the combine.
Is Barry Bonds his uncle?
I don't know.
Does he stay in Balco?
I know that, man.
Is he on the clear?
But nah, he actually, he's not one of these guys that just go blow up the combine. If you look at his tape, it matches up on tape also. He has double-digit sacks from Mississippi State playing defensive end the last 2 seasons. So I think he just secured himself as a top 10 pick. I'll tell you, this draft here is defense heavy, man. I honestly think the whole first round, probably 80% of it could be defense. So those are some of my winners.
You got Guru's attention with that. Now, Almanac, we are almost out of time here. Got a very short amount of time here left, but give us a couple of your losers on here. Give us your top 2 or 3.
I don't say losers. It starts.
I'm sorry, because they're still making the NFL. Let's be honest. Give me who blew their shots.
One loser, and it's sad because this guy, he's the son of a legend. But Elijah Holyfield, the running back from Georgia, he destroyed his draft stock. He ran a 4.840, and he's a running back. You can't justify that. You can't run the same 40 as Quentin Williams, and he got you by over 100 pounds probably. So his draft stock.
Not when running is in your position. You can get away with it elsewhere.
But I bet you probably gonna have the most wicked stiff arm man in the league, though, man. I
don't know.
Stiff arm.
Well, he got a second shot at his pro day, so hopefully he can improve that 40.
All right, Almanac, thank you so much on the campus check-in with the Almanac. We are going to have you back again next week. We'll be talking about March Madness next week when we get in here, the first weekend of the tournament. Thanks for joining us, and once again, we'll catch you again next week on the campus check-in.
Thank you, guys. I enjoyed taping with y'all, man. I had a good time as always.
See you later, sir.
Later.
Yes, sir. Peace.
Guru back again on Trash Talk Radio. Our thanks to the Almanac for giving us all the dirt on the combine. Love hearing his takes on that because I'm not watching those players, so I need him to tell me what's going on there.
5'10", right?
5'10". I'm telling you, the only thing that kept me out of that first pick was not being 5'10".
Oh man!
It wasn't not the total lack of ability or the 145 pounds. It wasn't any of that. All right, Guru, we are almost out of time here on Trash Talk Radio now, but here's the time on the show to play a little bit of a 2-minute drill. You want to do a drill?
Let's do this.
All right, here's how we play the 2-minute drill. It is the time on the show when we talk about all of the things we didn't get to talk to on the show. I usually put 2 minutes on the clock and then we start talking, but before we get into the actual drill here, one of the big things we didn't get to talk about was the Lakers and LeBron James. They have officially shut it down. Looks like they're going to miss the playoffs. Guru, I know you wanted to get into this, so I'm going to give it a little more time before I start the clock on this one. Who's to blame for what's going on in LA right now, and how do they get out of this?
Of course, you blame the king.
It's the king, right?
It's the king. Nothing else. It's the mastermind, man. He's the boss. He's the Don. It's just his evil plan. Because if the king says, I'm going to Houston, it will be his, the situation will be different. It will be him to blame too. If the king said, I'd have gone over here. So it's the king. The king miscalculated, you know. And it's not like he miscalculated in a negative way. He just miscalculated for the basketball aspect. He calculated perfectly for the movie.
Yeah, so we know this was not a basketball move.
Yeah, he calculated precisely to the point where he needed to. But as far as the Lakers type of calculation, I think he missed a little decimal point here and there.
Well, it turns out that the one-year team he put together, the guys on the one-year contracts, didn't carry it far enough, and then they couldn't make the trade with the young kids. The Brandon Ingram injury and then the Lonzo Ball injury has them shutting it down. LeBron getting injured this year really hurt them as well. Shut down for the year, so it looks like he's going to miss the playoffs. He just passed Jordan for the scoring title, not the scoring title, but just passed Jordan's total on the all-time scoring list. Mm-hmm. But with this loss, how does this balance out in his legacy going forward?
Oh, man, obviously, if you're 25 and older, you know this. We fight that to the death. There's nothing he could ever do. There's nothing he could do. Now, if you're 15 to 20, yeah, you could lead on. Oh, I love LeBron, this, that. But at the end of the day, nothing could have done to L.A. Anything he done in the next 4 years is never going to be about beating Jordan.
What do they do in the offseason in L.A.? Did they
making the movies?
No, not.
Oh, which one?
I mean, what do the Lakers do in the offseason here? How do they build this back up? What do they do next year?
The Don is going to do his thing, man. Like, the thing that gets me, this is when you know something's. He's first of all, he's upset. We know that.
Right.
Secondly, it's just weird to me how they just name and he separate himself from the team. Everything you hear is the kids, the youngs. Like, I'm so much superior. What if somebody keeps saying the kid? I'm a grown man. I'm paying my own bills, homie. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm feeding my family. Like, this family, they're eating off me.
Right. And Lonzo Ball's family's huge. He's feeding them all.
Like, you calling me everything you hear in the media is this kid. And LeBron telling this kid, I'm like, dude, this kid is feeling this. See, my mom, dad, mom.
Yeah.
Like, I'm feeding them. I'm not a kid no more. You know, so all that mentality telling this kid, you're just basically telling, look, you're not good enough for me. You're not good enough for me. You're just little. You're a kid. It's just the subliminal messages. The young guys. No, they're NBA players. They're lottery picks.
Yeah,
just
lottery
like
picks.
you. They didn't come call you the kid. No, you didn't. You came in the league as the king, not the kid. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man. It's like you can't just be talking guys. This come kid, on, man. the verbiage is really not encouraging. It was never encouraging. It was always about the young guys rather than us. We together, chemistry. This kids. I'm a grown man. Every time when you say, imagine when I'm saying this kids, Lestro. I'm telling you, like, easily see how my hands just naturally move because I can't say without naturally moving away.
Right. You don't want to sun someone and then think they're going to stand up for you.
Like, get out of here, man. So I think LeBron next year, the Don is going to do the Don move. I expect to see Kyrie. Yes, you heard it. I expect to see Kyrie in L.A. and AD in L.A., and it's going to be sunshine in La La Land.
All right, we're going to talk about that next week because we're out of time. There's too much to talk about there. But let's get into the actual 2-minute drill here. Like I said, the 2-minute drill is where we talk about things we didn't get to talk about. I put 2 minutes on the clock and start throwing questions at the Guru. Here we go. All right, Guru, first question. We talked a little bit about the Combine with the Almanac earlier in the show. Are you an eye test guy or are you an analytics guy? Does the Combine matter to you?
There's certain aspect of the Combine that do matter for certain positions and things like that, and just trying to see really, I want to visually see the body type. You know, that's what the combine. I mean, I want to see you as a person, how you sound like, what you move, how you are uncomfortably. But as far as like the drills, that's tapes.
You don't think the numbers, the high jump and all that matter?
Oh no, it just matter for the fans, man. For the fans, you sell tickets, man. This is for-profit organization, baby.
All right, switching back to the NBA, Vince Carter has said he wants to play again next year. First, would you sign him? And second, more impressive old guy, Vince Carter or Tom Brady?
Yes, I will sign Vince Sanity.
Me too.
Heck yeah, man. And I'm doing it for the bald-headed guys, man. I'm going with Vince Sanity, man. Brady got too much hair, man. He got model wife hair. He used these deflating balls, and now I'm going with my man Vince Sanity.
Staying with the NBA, New York Knicks owner James Dolan banned a fan from Madison Square Garden for telling him to sell the team. Who's the worst owner, James Dolan or Dan Snyder?
Come on, man. James Dolan is. I can't believe I'm saying this. James Dolan is an integer by worse than Dan Snyder.
And will this prevent them from getting free agents?
At least Dan Snyder overpaid free agents. Free agents, they come to get paid. James Dolan can't even get free agents to come over there.
Yeah, it's really hurting them. And I got to say, Knicks fans, you got to be chanting sell the team at every fucking game, because if James Dolan gets rid of everybody that wants him to sell the team, he'll be by himself watching an empty court. All right, let me see. Jason Witten is coming out of retirement. Anyone else you want to see come out of retirement?
Man, Jason Witten coming out of retirement?
Yeah.
Oh, actually, no, because I need you to retire.
Yeah.
The reason why you retire, because you retire. But if I do want to see anyone's lips sneakily, we Megatron.
Ooh, I would watch that. That's a good one. The U.S. Olympic Committee is going to add breakdancing in 2024 as a sport, breaking as a sport. My question for you is, harder degree of difficulty, the robot, the windmill, the head spin, or that kid and play thing where they jump over their leg?
If they're doing breakdancing, I'm picking whichever Asian country is represented. I'm betting my money on the Asian country, man.
I'm betting on the Jabberwockies. They're going to head out there as a whole team. Final question, Guru. The horn went off. Bryce Harper walked up to his first at-bat as a Philadelphia Philly to the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air theme song, immediately just endearing himself to everybody in Philadelphia, despite the fact that song's about leaving Philadelphia. His first song, what's your walk-up song, Guru?
Damn, man, I remember this. This is a good one.
Yeah?
That was a good one, man. My walk-up song, gosh, you put me in the stink, man.
I'll tell you, mine would probably be something by Run the Jewels at this point, because that is the best pump-up music that I got. Close your eyes and count to fuck. And here's Lestro coming up to bat.
I guess the one I always wanted, though, you know, the typical all-American, African-American #1 walk-up song in the history of walk-up song. It was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine with Salt and Pepper and Heavy D up in the limousine. Come on, man.
And with that little bit of Biggie, we are out of time this week on Trash Talk Radio. Our thanks to the Almanac for joining us for the campus check-in. We'll see him again next week. Our thanks to Avliano Productions for always making us look good. Make sure you head over to the YouTube page, search for worldosportsnetwork.com and subscribe, and Trash Talk Radio everywhere you can find podcasts. Until next time, I'm Lestro.
It's the G to the U to the R to the U.
Thanks for listening.